I am Tom at Just One Pack, and this is AC On, the short Alpha Clash podcast, where I'll talk all things Alpha Clash on my way to work. Or actually, today on my way back home from work. So the thing is, I recorded this episode this morning, and I get into a bit, and then I just happened to stumble across a comment making a third of my podcast void. So I'm going to go into that, but let's do the preface. I am going to talk about the future, the very short future of Alpha Clash. So let's dig into that. So recently, this weekend, in fact, I got to see the newest episode, or the latest episode from Rising Empire Studio, where they did a lunch break live stream sort of thing. They played a game, Rich and Garret, and had a chat. Excellent idea, and I'm absolutely delighted that they actually recorded it and put it online on YouTube for the rest of us to see, for the rest of us being those who could not make their lunch break, right? So in that video, in that session, they said that there would be some interesting reveals in late April, in the end of the month, right? And I thought, well, I am going to have a poke at what is the top three things I think will be in that reveal. One of those were a release plan of sorts for the next couple of comics. Now, we know Kids Will Be Kids is out with Equilibrium. Some of you may or may not have gotten a copy of that. I'm crossing my fingers that I actually get my hands on one. So that was a possibility that they could reveal more about the comic books. And then, so that was on my list. Only to read a comment where one of them, I think it was Garret, doesn't matter, spoiled that will in fact be one of the things they will spoil or reveal more of at the end of the month, a plan for the next comic book or two. Well, then I'm just doing this again, aren't I? Well, it's not too bad, because it makes room for one more of my conspiracy theory thing ideas here. So let's go down the rumour mill. Let's find it and see what comes out at the end. I want to hear your choices too. What you think there will be in the end. Well, maybe you're just agreeing with me. Let's dig into it, right? So number one. Having to have a look at, having followed along with the sort of hints and tweets and talked to a couple of guys online, I'm thinking that my number one guess is a reveal of the push into the UK, right? So the thing is, with the UK, if you don't know, that there has been an interest there to do more with Alpha Clash. Hopefully that's true for a lot of places, but specifically in the UK, and to a point where they are doing the first 2 European awakenings, at least to my knowledge. They are happening in the Leaky Teacup in Redford. It's a start. It's a good start. And that's the first 2 competitive tournaments in Europe. It's in the UK, so. But they sort of revealed, or sort of read through the lines that might be more to this, right? What that is, I don't know. It's not entirely true. I do know that because I asked them on a live stream once, that if they were considering doing conventions outside of the US, and they were. So my number one guess is that they would reveal to us what conventions they're at, what kind of push they're going to do into the UK, right? That's my number one guess. I hope that they will reconsider going to Spiel. Spiel is, if you don't know, is a sort of a game fair. I do believe it's one of the biggest, and it's held every year in Essen, Germany. And if Alpha Clash is going, I'm going. I just hope if they're going, I hope they will announce it early enough for me to get a ticket. Right? So I don't know if they're going there. I know that they're going to the UK Game Expo, also a big fair. But hopefully they will reveal more of what they're doing there. So that's my number one guess. My second guess is a product reveal. So we know that there are two products coming up, right? It's the draft box and it's the PV. And as far as I remember, the PV is set for release in August. We don't know much about it, other than it's a PV. I think it's up to 4 players, and it's the story of it is the product is called Siege of the Forgotten, and the story is that there is we're fighting Lord Krong and his hordes of discard, right? Now, that's it. That's what we know. Now, since I've heard about this back at ClashCon, I've been sort of obsessed with finding other TCGs doing this player versus environment kind of thing, and it's kind of rare, at least for official products to be out like that. Lorcana did one just recently. Keyforge have done something for a while. I know Keyforge is sort of not a trading card game, but it follows many of the same mechanics game-wise, right? So that has done it for quite a while. And I know Lorcana has a PvE out, which I've played quite a few times and starting to win, so maybe I should tighten it up a bit. So I know that's a thing. I think Magic did one, and I'm blanking on the name right now, but Magic did one years and years ago. But Arch Enemy, I think it was called. So them doing a PvE is really exciting to me. Now, there's also a draft box coming out, because since we are ending a cycle of 3, right? So or a cycle of 3. So we're ending that with a draft box called the Nexus of Power. Now, it is going to be one of the two, but I want to be precise. So I think that the product being revealed, more details about, is going to be the PvE. I might be wrong on that. It might be Nexus Power, but I'm going with the PvE because that's the one that excites me the most. Don't get me wrong. I really like the draft box. I'm definitely going to buy one or two in hope to get to draft it with my play group. So that's the second take. Now, third, I would have had the comic books, but I'm going to go down sort of the same or different path on this. How does it work? Well, the thing is about I've been talking about how they do everything everyone else is, except with a twist, right? And that goes for the lore as well. So the lore in Alpha classes is they're really driving home how important it is. But there are bits and pieces we are missing, right? So along with the comic books, which we now know there'll be, I think it said 12 different comic books over the next 15 months. And I have no idea how I'm going to get hold of that, which is what I think they will present, or what I read they will present us with, right? Well, that was my original take, and because I think they themselves have a need to present more lore to us, right? More history of the history behind these characters, right? So, since they already did tell that they were going to promote the comic books, or tell us more, reveal more about the comic books, I'm going to go a little bit more high level on this one, right? I think that they will reveal something different, but lore-based. So we know there's a book 2 coming out. We know that there will be comic books. I think they might go and do something completely different for the next sets. Now, I have been hoping for quite a while that something like the Clash kits will come with comic books in them. Just, if you play these Flesh and Blood came out with classic battles, and I've mentioned this before, but go reiterate it. Flesh and Blood came out with classic battles, sort of a 2-player kit. Now it cost a fortune, and we don't want that. Having a price tag, I think, was twice what a Clash kit cost. Sorry. Now, having the twice the price, that's not worth it. But in that were a small booklet with the story of each of the characters, right? Something like that. Maybe the scene, setting the scene, the small comic book in the Clash kit, setting the scene for the upcoming battle that you're about to experience between these 2 characters. That would be awesome, right? Having a new player open up such a lore-heavy card game, and the first experience you get is to see the 2 characters and having the story told and what clash you're about to engage in with these 2 characters. That would be such a heavy lifting part of it, really bringing you into that side of the of the game, of the whole background of the game, letting you connect with the heroes. Because that is one of the things that Alpha Clash does. It lets you connect with the heroes, or they're called contenders, right? Or really any of the cards. So it lets you connect to these much more than a lot of other games do, right? Because you see the same character in different situations. You can recognize them in the background cards, on other cards, and even though there are probably most of us have a favorite contender, but if we have to choose someone that's not yet a contender, I'm pretty sure we can name a few, right? But people like Apex has not had a contender, at least not yet, and going into Cosmic Block, he might not get one this time around, right? So having so many characters we can relate to and we can build around, and we sort of stick them together and make these, you can almost see theme decks starting to grow, right? That link to the story is super important to me, I think, or super important to getting people in, even players that may not have been big TCG players before. Now you can lure them in without having a casual scene for that. So I'm not saying they're revealing that the new Clash kits will have a comic book in the back. That might be a bit too expensive, but what I am saying is, I think that along with the comic books, is going to reveal something, some different way to tell the background story. Right? Whether that is not a type of product, or I don't know, posters, something. I think that would be well. I hope that is what they'll do. Exactly what that would be, I have less of an idea of. But hey, if they want to brainstorm about it, I'd be happy to do so. Anyway, that was my 3 takes. Something to expand the lore. We're a bit behind on the lore and the story of the sets coming up. Now we're moving into Cosmic Blood, right? So something to support that other than the comics. And my second guess was the reveal of more details about the PvE, letting us know a little bit more on what it is, how it does. Maybe we'll get to see a sort of a product prototype, right, of the final product. That would be awesome. I know it's August, there's loads away, and just I'm excited about that. And my first guess was an update on the push, a reveal of the push into the UK, which could be a interesting way to take Europe. So that was my 3 guesses. Let me know what you think. Did I miss something obvious, other than maybe switching Nexus of Power with Siege of the Forgotten, or the PV with the draft box? What do you think I should have gone with on this list? Anyway, that was my guesses. I'm looking forward to getting Easter done so we can get the news. And, well, I'll talk to you then. Bye.